The standard tool primarily allows you to select and manipulate objects on the timeline. As it is a multifunctional tool, it also allows you to write new objects using the command modifier or delete them using the shift modifiers. Let's look at a few examples. I command-click to write a few notes. Then click on one of them to select it. Next, I drag a selection box around several of them. I click anywhere to deselect the whole group, then shift-click to delete a note. I then drag a selection box holding down Shift so that all selected notes are deleted. These conventions are generally the same in a curve, although there are a few minor differences. For example, you can see that the selected events are red instead of gray. Once selected, objects can be manipulated in many ways. As a simple example, here, I am copying and pasting a few of them using the Edit menu. The main limitation of this mode is that, as you can see here, it is not possible to select objects in this way in several tracks at once. But there is an exception for regions. Since these are more global objects, you can use them to work around this restriction. Another method is to use the Selector tool, which allows you to perform very powerful selection and filtering operations. As soon as you access this tool, the pointer changes to a text cursor. You can no longer click on objects to select them, but you can click anywhere and drag to select a time segment. Once a segment exists, click on another track to move it, or do the same while holding down the Command or Shift key to extend the selection to multiple tracks. You can even be more specific in the way you select vertical areas. For example, in this Grand Staff track, I can select and edit any single staff, or the entire system. I can also select the content of the curve area, in which case, the selected and edited material changes depending on the chosen edit mode. On the other hand, to perform a more global operation, I simply select the entire vertical space. In each of these contexts, this filter palette automatically enables and selects the buttons representing the types that will be edited. When multiple buttons are enabled, you can change this choice before applying any operation available from the Edit menu. Then, to return to the default settings, you can click on this Reset button. For its part, the pencil tool is too sophisticated to be discussed in detail here. However, its default behavior is fairly obvious. Depending on the context, simply click to write a note, a curve event, or a region. You can also use the pencil to write chords. You can click and drag to draw free phrases, to write tremolos or trills, to write scales, arpeggios, or random sequences. For each of these modes, you will find various options and settings in the pencil menu. In certain edit modes, such as velocity, the pencil tool becomes useless. That's why, in this case, it turns into a corrector tool that can be used to modify the displayed values instead of creating new objects. By default, the corrector simply allows you to manipulate note events as you would with the standard tool. But it has many other modes. For example, a humanizer mode that applies a random factor to your velocities, or a freehand mode that allows you to draw a velocity curve that events will align with. Okay, we've now covered our main tools. In the next part of this tutorial, we will discuss constraints as well as grid and scale magnetism. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.